Hi,
Hi.
how are
How's it
you?
going?
Good. Hold on, I'm putting my headphones in so I can hear better.
Oh, sure. I wasn't sure if I was in the right meeting.
Oh, this is the one. Well, if you're here, I'm here.
All right, well, that's good. But I got a Zoom notice that somebody named Chase had joined my personal meeting room. They're not here. So I was just going to the meetup group to see if somebody named Chase is even, what you call it, RSVP, because I wonder if it could be a hacker.
Or are they using the old Zoom?
This is the one that came in the calendar, like when Mickey, I think Mickey booked this one, right? In
Right.
Meetup. This is
Right.
the one that came directly into my calendar.
Yeah, but the other one, the one that we've been using for almost a year,
Yeah,
somebody could be logging into that one.
yeah, maybe.
In which case, too bad.
Too bad.
Yeah, I have students do that all the time. They think that you just log into.
And then I'll have to remember to take a photo also.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being patient with us. We appreciate it. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
How are you all?
Hi, Andrea.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good.
Hi. Yay. All right. New York City Divi. We are so pleased to welcome our guest today. We have Christina from Noya Designs. She will talk to us a little bit about her background and then jump into how to build a custom WooCommerce page. So we're very excited to have you here.
Michi, me voy a poner guapa contigo.
Thank you. If you're not muted, if you want to mute yourself, and then the way Christina wants to run today will be we'll have a little bit of a presentation and then some questions on that part, and then continue forward, a little more presentation, a little more questions, and then Q&A at the end. So don't hesitate to either raise your hands with a question or pop it in the chat. I'm very excited to have you all here. And Christina, welcome. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. And I just wanted to apologize to the group. I apologize for running late, but we're gonna plow right through it. So my name is Christina Guerra. Thank you so much, Divi NYC, for having me here today. This is, I think, my second time presenting. And I love New York and I love the people from New York. So therefore I automatically love all of you guys. So today, what I wanted to do was, I didn't want to do like a traditional presentation. What I actually wanted to do is do a live walkthrough of a Divi / WooCommerce build that I did that I slightly customized in the theme builder. And I wanted to kind of show like in real time, real life, what I did, but also with the new changes that Divi has recently made to the checkout page and all of that stuff. This site is actually old and therefore it doesn't have those changes in it. So I kind of wanted to also do like an over the shoulder kind of look where we're going to now customize some of those pages in the new way that Divi has made for us, because I'm supposed to do it anyway because I'm maintaining their site. So I'm just like, you know what, I'll do some work and then you guys can like walk me through it and we can do it all together. So I don't want to I will answer any questions about me towards the end. I want to make the most of your time. So let us get right into it. So any questions thus far? So about like what the plan is, any questions, comments, concerns? No, we're all good, great. So I believe you can use the chat box if you have any questions, comments. Yeah, you're doing great. Oh my God, I didn't understand it. Chat box is there. And also if you want to use like I think we have the reactions thing that Zoom uses as well. If you want to put like your hand up or anything like that, that would be fantastic. So let's get right into it. So the site that we are working from, it's already live, it's already published. And so if you want to kind of walk along in real time, it's this website here, which is parentsofblackchildren.org. And I'm just going to walk through the setup of the site first, and then how that setup relates to the WooCommerce integration. After that, we're going to go into the back end, into the Divi theme builder, and look at the templates that were created for the shop page, and the product page, the archive page. I think that's all of it. And then we're going to actually go in and see how those modules were edited, so that you can do the same for yourself as well. So this website, it uses a lot under the hood, but the most important thing that it utilizes is it makes thorough use of the Divi theme builder. So this menu up here, this secondary menu, if you were part of the very first meetup that I led here at Divi NYC, you'll notice that we remade this, which we actually, in the first meetup that we did, we used CSS and the default secondary menu in Divi to stylize this. But in this website, we're actually using the theme builder to create the hover effect over the secondary menu, which this organization uses as an announcement bar. We then have the main menu again, which we then utilize again the theme builder to create. On the home page, we have a separate page template for that, but we do, as we go into the inner pages, we'll see that the header or the title section of each page remains the same, and we carry that through even onto the WooCommerce pages. This is just standard Divi being beautiful, and then we have a custom footer, which is also made in the theme builder. So the reason these things are important, and the reason I wanted to set these things up, is because we have set these headers and these footers as global headers and global footers in the Divi theme builder. So if you notice in the Divi theme builder, it's green over here because it's a global header, and it's green over here because it's a global footer. And we have that all the way through, even for the shop page. The category page is slightly different, and we'll go into why that is. And we also have it for all products, AKA the archive page for all products or all tags, etc., when it refers to WooCommerce. So if we just click on this, we're going to take a look at what that actually looks like and how this now transfers onto the WooCommerce pages on the front end. So as we're just waiting for the builder to load, does anyone have any questions about global headers or global footers in relation to Divi at this time? Any questions? You can unmute yourself, or you can use a chat. No, everyone's good. Oh, wow.
I have a question. I'm just doing a site right now, and I'm using the just a module that's global, but I guess I could do that in the builder.
Yes. So okay. The reason we have the header be global is because we don't want, when a client takes over their site, we don't want them to have to continuously add that same module to every single page that they do.
Right.
So right off the bat, if they were to create a brand new page, if we actually go to this menu, will automatically be added to it. They don't have to add the modules. The page template for the header will automatically be added to it. The footer will automatically be added to it. So all they need to focus on is designing the actual page, knowing that the menu, the page title, the footer will always be the same. So that's why we prefer to use the Divi theme builder to kind of design those sections that will always remain the same across the site.
Yep. Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right now we have the main header, the main menu. So we have the announcement bar, we have the main menu. And then notice we also have the mobile version of the same thing. Because we want to be mobile first. So we want to make sure that we have something that looks fairly decent when it comes to the mobile and tablet view for the site. So this is the foundation and some of the blocks that we bear in mind when we're going to lay the foundation to start building for WooCommerce. So just to kind of take a step back and kind of answer Andrea's question, we're now going to take a look at a simple page within this website. And another thing that we add on top of the global header is actually the format for all the pages. So in this case, we have a full width header module, and we have the featured image as the background. We have the page title set here, and then they can do whatever they want on the actual layout of the page. And so now we don't actually set that up in the global header. We set that up in as a custom body within the page template. So if you notice, this template is assigned to all the pages, and an additional, there's also specific pages where we don't want this to appear. So if we go into the custom body, this now sets up the foundation for what the cart page is going to look like, what the checkout page is going to look like, and what product pages are going to look like. Because what we want to maintain, we want to have the menu be the same, we want the secondary menu to be the same, we want the page title to be the same, and we want to have this just populate with the products. So we're just waiting for the builder to load. And Andrea, this is what we do so that clients don't need to add the module all the time. So what we've set up is this module over here is the, I think it's the full width header module. And we used, I think it's called dynamic field. So right over here, the title would be automatically the post page or archive title. The background is set to have an overlay over it, and then also have the featured image. So what the client will then need to do is, for this specific page, they don't need to, the only change or edit they need to make for the page header is they upload a featured image, and right away it gets styled automatically. So these are some of the things we do before we start tackling WooCommerce. And the reason for that is the main thing that we had issues with when we were using older versions of Divi, as you all know, before they brought through the integrations with WooCommerce, it was the fact that WooCommerce pages looked really bad and we couldn't have control over them, and we couldn't have styling over them, and we'd have these beautiful page layouts, but the WooCommerce pages would not be able to carry through that styling. And now this is why it's really important for us to determine what the style will be, what will the header be for the page, what will the page title be for the page, what will the footer be, because we're now going to duplicate all of that and put it on WooCommerce. So in this website, they actually did not want to have direct access to a shop page. So if we go to shop here, they did not want that to appear anywhere on the menu, because they wanted to have specific links that take people to specific products. So if you notice here, the menu is no longer here, the announcement bar is no longer here, and the footer is no longer here. Because if we look in the theme builder for that particular page, we didn't assign it to it. But this is how we customize the shop page for this store. But notice that it still takes that same page styling where automatically the page title is populated, automatically the featured image is assigned over here. And what we did, because we didn't, it's not possible, I shouldn't say it's not possible, for this website, we didn't want to have any issues where the client was wanting to get too much control over the shop page. What we did was we used one of their signature image, which is this photo in the background, and we used that image across all of the WooCommerce pages. So it doesn't matter if it's a product, it doesn't matter if it's a category. We didn't want to rely on the featured image for a category, because most times for the styling, they wanted the images to be square. So if we were to take, for example, this specific tank top and slide it across the header, it would look really bad. So what we decided to do instead was to go back and take advice, take inspiration from the previous pages, and just set a standard image that we'll use for all the products, a standard image we use for all the categories, and anything related to the cart functions. We would use that standard image as opposed to using the product image on the page. So now let's actually go into one of these products. So far, are there any questions? You can raise your hand, you can unmute, you can use the chat. Okay. Seems like everyone seems to be understanding. Great. So now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of everything. And so now we see we've come onto our product and okay, we have the navigation bar back, we have the menu back, and we have the similar styling for a regular standalone page is now applied to the product page. And notice right away, as opposed to having the page title populate into the heading as we've done over here, we have the actual product name inputted into here. And now we have our custom recreated WooCommerce product page. So over here, we have the breadcrumb. We have some styling, which we've pulled from across the site. So we're using the same font, the same font sizes. We're taking the accent color and we're applying that to this product. We've also taken some other styling ideas. We've styled the related products section. We've did a little bit of styling to the individual, what's this called, details, accordion, and then we have the footer. So let's now take a look at what this actually looks like in the back end in the theme builder. At this time, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Nope, everything good. All right, cool. So we are now going to take a look at this template over here. So notice we've attached our global header, we've attached our global footer. So now we're going to go into the custom body and take a look at the different modules that were used and customized to recreate this very simple product page. So we're going to click onto the custom body. And while that loads up, I am going to charge my laptop. So we have the exact same dynamic post title that we had for all of our pages. And this is what allows us to pull in the styling and the branding that we've had across the entire site. This is how we now pull that in to our product pages. Next, we have a row. We have the section for, I think we did this in, no, we did in one section. So we have one section here. We have different rows for different items across the product page. So we use, firstly, the breadcrumb tool. We added that and we styled that. We used the styling from across the site for that. We did the same for this module, which is I think it's called the WooCommerce notice setting. So if you have Ajax, I think it's the Ajax setting in WooCommerce, it will either pop up a notice saying, hey, you've added this product to cart, you got to set quantity to cart, et cetera, et cetera. And so for this specific module, a thing to note is the styling of the button. I always make sure that you double check the styling of the notice settings as well as any of the modules within WooCommerce, because that's a place and an area where sometimes leaks happen when it comes in design, as I will show you on some of the previous pages that we still need to style on today's call. So for the notice, we added that right on top, and we wanted to make this product page as similar to the default WooCommerce product page as possible, simply because the client's client needed something very standard. They did not want something very flashy. They're trying to donate to a cause, and we didn't want to put that many hurdles in their way for them to be able to donate or support. So we're just like, let's keep this very simple. Let's keep this very standard. But even keeping it simple, keeping it standard, you can still really have some fun with customizing it, and Divi really makes it possible for you to do that. So something to note is whenever you are using any of the Divi Woo modules, make sure that you remember and utilize your custom styles for buttons across the website, because that's a very easy place where there might be some leaks for Divi's default styling to peek through, and it doesn't have great togetherness across the site. So that was something we really put emphasis on over here. The next thing that we did is we created another row for the product image and then the various product descriptions. So I believe this module is a product image. And in this case, I think we did two things. We used the product images module and we left it alone. And I think if we go into the wireframe view, I believe that we also allowed it to be able to show, as you can see here, the gallery beneath it as well. So that is a setting to be mindful of in case you don't want the additional images for the product to show. In this case, there sometimes are multiple product photos for the product, and we didn't want to just show that single image. So just be mindful of that. If there are multiple images for products across your store, potentially, double check to make sure that when you do use the product images setting, you click show gallery images. Alternatively, you could turn this setting off and then simply use the Woo product gallery module. But I found in my experience, it causes there to sometimes be a little bit of glitching. So I prefer to do the single image for the Woo product and then enable the gallery to come through for that. And for this row, which is this one showcased here on the front end over here, what we also put on here was the product title, the product price, the product description. And for this, we use the short description, but depending on what your styling preferences are for what your client needs, you could also use the full description here as well. Then we put the add to cart module. And again, just want to flag, make sure that you are customizing the button over here again, because this is also another place where if you are not using the default customize section to style your buttons across your site, you may want to go in a little bit deeper and customize the button for your product pages. And also for this product page and for this client, they did want to showcase how much was left in stock for each of the products. So we also added the Woo product stock module to the page. So far, are there any questions? Anything anyone would like a little help on? Comments, concerns? The floor is open.
Does the Woo product stock show like all the sizes and colors?
So that is actually
There. Okay.
So that is a separate module. So what we did for the styling of this product page is we created a separate row. And the module that we used for that was the Woo product tabs module. Now, again, for this client, we wanted to try and keep it as simple as possible. I believe they don't even have like full product descriptions for all of their products. They just use, I think, like 2 or 3 lines. But what we did include was the additional information. So in WooCommerce, when you add and create the product, if you have different colors, different sizes, as I believe for this particular product, they have a multitude of sizes. The additional information within the Woo product tabs will pull all of that information, as would it would pull the full product description as well as the reviews. And these 3 things here are populated through WooCommerce and not necessarily through Divi, but you would use the Divi Woo product tabs module to determine whether or not you would like to show those things or not. So also a thing to remember, especially if you are styling, as we are in this specific case, we're styling the single product page or template, is to make sure that you have this product selected. What that means is that this template will apply to all the products or the current product across the site. You also have various options where you could even go a little bit deeper and have different Divi theme templates available for each individual product on your site. So if you did want to go a little bit deeper and maybe you wanted to have custom landing pages for specialty products within a store, you could create various templates within the Divi theme builder to be able to achieve that. In this specific case, we wanted to keep everything as simple as possible. And so each product has and uses the exact same product template to be able to make sure everything looks like and looks similar. And then finally, we have the Woo related products section. And for that, remember, we are focusing on the current product. So what this could potentially do is you could either select the latest products or a specific product to populate the Woo related products module. And you can also determine how many products shown. I love this here where you can actually determine the column layout. So in this particular case, we decided to go with 3 products and 3 columns. And you can determine also the order as well. For this, we wanted it to be stay within the current product. So therefore, whatever category this product a client lands on is shown, all products that are related to that specific product is what will be shown. So if I'll give you a good example of this, would actually be one of their digital products where, because it's only one product within the category, nothing actually populates onto that bottom section. So if you scroll all the way down, sure, the styling is the same, all of that, but notice there are just black lines that show here because there are no related products and there isn't a product description. So we had it set up so it goes directly to whatever the current product is, and the related product will now do what it needs to do based on the specific product that a store owner appears on. So I'm noticing a question in the chat from Seema. Seema says, how do you get a cart sign on hover on related product images? Great question. Let's go through it. So when it comes to the design tab, so right now, let's just go through that process again. So we're using the Woo related products, and we're going to click on the gear or add the module. And then we're going to go into design. And the first item that we see is overlay. And this is where you would determine what happens when someone mouses over. So let me actually go into our product. So if we go here, so the overlay, when you mouse over, it's a little bit translucent in black, and then the green part. So for overlay over here, if we change the overlay icon color, let's say we want to make it orange, we can change the overlay color, let's say we want to make it green. And then with the beautiful new Divi icon update, we can search for a different cart icon to utilize. And that is how you would customize the overlay on the related product. So now if we refresh, the overlay is different. So for the related products module, you would use the design tab and then overlay to set what the overlay would look like when someone mouses over, specifically for the related products underneath a product. I hope that was helpful, Seema.
Yes, thanks. It's really nice. Good to see. Thank you.
You're welcome. At this time, are there any other questions?
Do you design separately for mobile? Like when you're making design for a hover, there won't, in mobile, there won't be any hovers. So do you make a separate template for mobile, or you design as you go?
To be honest with you, I design as I go. And even though there are no hovers for mobile, I still create them in case someone is on tablet or desktop. So I haven't actually truly really thought about what would happen if someone gets the related product on mobile. But it is something to think about. But as of right now, no, that's not really part of my process when it comes to hovering over for that particular module.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. At this time, are there any other questions? Comments?
What's this icon on your header? Is it an image? The orange one?
Okay, so this is, I think, Simple Accessibility. It's an accessibility plugin that we use on Divi to try and make the website a little bit more accessible for people who might use the website differently. So
Okay.
it can make the font bigger, it can handle contrast. I think for this website also, one thing that they're trying to do is to use, I think it's a SaaS product called Reach Deck, which will enable, if someone is maybe hard of hearing or someone might have issues with their eyesight, they can actually have the website read out to them with that SaaS product. So they're really trying to make their website as accessible as possible. So that's what that icon is. And that's the, let me pull out the actual name. I believe it is called One-Click Accessibility. So I believe there is a Divi accessibility plugin, but I have to be honest with you, I have never used it. I've heard about it, but I feel like at this point in time, it's a bit more of a myth than an actual plugin that one can truly use. But I'm open to hear if anyone has actually used it before and what they were able to accomplish with it. Okay, so we've gone through the individual products page. So now let's go through the cart page. And I think this is somewhere where we can do a little bit of a live walkthrough of actually customizing it a bit. So right at the bat, we notice we have the styling in place that we use for the notices, but the button remains unstyled. So let's see if we can style this button correctly. So to do that, we're going to go back into the Divi theme builder. And we are going to go to the template for, I don't actually remember where that template is. Give me a moment, please. Let's see. Okay, so we are going to create the cart page template. Aha. So let's do that. So to do that, we're going to click add a new template. And we're going to use it for, let's see, it says this item is assigned. Okay, let's find where the cart page is. Where is it assigned to? Here we go. Okay, so we're going to first, well, let's take a look at what it looks like here, because I think we might need to do something here. So for currently, I thought we'd be able to create a new template for the cart page, but right now I have created a template for the cart, the checkout, and my account. But right now the cart page is a little bit wonky. So let's walk through fixing that. So let's first take a look at what it currently looks like right now. I'm surprised I did this. Interesting. So let's see. So I did a very lazy thing here. So I'm going to walk you through it. So what I did here was I simply added my header module to this template. And then I simply use the post content module, which you can use if you're doing and setting up a template for a blog post. And so what this does is it allows you to just, whatever is supposed to be on the page, it will sandwich it between whatever is your global header and whatever is your global footer. And that's what I did for my account, checkout, and the cart page. But now I'm not really loving the fact that the button is like this, and the fact that there's really, in my personal opinion, there's not enough white space between the header and the footer. So we're going to create a separate cart page template as opposed to using this lazy piece of work that I did, mostly because I probably was in a rush. So we are going to remove the cart page from here, and we're going to save. And then we're going to add a new template, and we're going to assign it only to the cart page. And we're going to create a template. So notice right away, we have the global header and we have the global footer. So whenever I am working with the Divi theme builder, I like to have one tab open that shows the front end of the website, not using the visual builder, and the other tab open where I will actually be doing the work. And the reason for that is I want to be able to save in one tab, go to the other tab, and refresh. So let's just remember what this used to look like. So this was my shoddy work by just using a very basic thrown together template. And so we've now created, we're starting the basis of something new. So we're now going to click Save Changes because we've created a new template and we've changed the assignment of this template. And so this is what it looked like before. And if we refresh now, what will it look like? Oh, wow, it's gone all the way back. So this is what back in the day, WooCommerce pages used to look like before we had the WooCommerce templates and the theme builder and all of that. So this is not acceptable because number one, it doesn't really fit into the theme and branding for the site. And still that pesky button looks disgraceful. So let's fix this. So we are now going to add a custom body, and we're not going to copy any. Actually, what we'll do is we'll copy the all pages template, because at least that will give some, that will number one, add in the page header, and that will basically have us starting from somewhere. So automatically we have the featured image here, we have the post template here, and we have okay spacing around what we have. So we're going to save that, and we can just use Control S. And because we are not doing anything major in terms of changing the assignment of the template or adding or taking away the global header or footer, if we refresh this page, we should have some of these changes populate through. I was wrong. Okay, no problem. So we do need to click Save Changes. And so now we are going to refresh. Cool. So there isn't a featured image for the cart page, so we need to put that on there, but we still have the same design swoop. And now we have the spacing thrown off. So let's fix that. So first things first, we're going to now go back into the custom body, and we are going to number one, set the global page title background. So it's already pulling up the dynamic field for the page/post/archive title, which in this case is cart. And so now the background, we are going to select, we're going to get rid of the featured image, and we're going to add the main photo that we have had, the generic photo, as I like to say, the branded photo for the organization. So just keep going down to the bottom. In here. I think we had background gradient on it, so we'll do that here as well. We're going to place a gradient above to kind of get that translucent effect. Okay, so the page title now will be correctly styled. So now let us fix the styling on the padding for this, because right now the notice stretches edge to edge and the button looks a bit weird. So what we're going to do is we're first going to delete the post content module. And we're going to, let's fix this over here. So we want the width to go back to what it was, which I believe is 80%. Bring it down. And this we can just refresh over here. Okay. And let's save, and let's see what that looks like now. So this is us basically redesigning the cart page. So we have the cart over here, but now we've lost this. So I think we still need to have the post content. Oh, actually, I'm lying. We will now be using the new Woo module. So we have Woo cart products, Woo cart totals, and Woo product add to cart. So let's do Woo cart products. And it will basically show this beautiful setting over here. And now notice we will now be able to have full control over these pesky little buttons, but also be able to add a little bit of more padding. So what I'm going to do is for this section over here, I'm going to double check what the spacing was like, and we're just going to remove all of that. We want to have some breathing room. And in fact, I think I'll add a little bit more padding for the top and bottom. And then, so now we should be able to see the actual cart table. And we're now going to edit this a little bit. So my biggest thing is always the buttons. So let's go and stylize that. So let me see. So buttons on the site, they are green. So let's do that first and foremost. And when you hover over, the arrow pops up and it also turns black. So let's change the hover. And then let's double check to make sure that the button icon will show. One on the right and one that's always the right. So let us now do something similar for the disabled button. So in this case, right now, it has, you can tell that they look so different. So we definitely want to have some of the styling for when something is disabled carry through, but we also want to have like an underlying understanding of the design principles applied. So the easiest way we can do that is applying the same font to the text on the disabled button. I also think I would like to have the text actually be black. I think the background is fine. And let's change the font. I believe I used Oswald. There we go. We'll show the disabled button icon. And we'll keep this there for now, just to kind of see where we're going. So let's save changes and let's see how far we've come. So this is where we're at right now. We have the global header, we have the global footer, we have the page title, and we have nothing. So let's see what happens once we do this. We refresh the page. Still nothing. Interesting. Does anyone think they could maybe let me know what potentially could be going wrong here? I think we need to add a notice module, personally, but I could be wrong. So we're just going to keep that at its default styling for now. And let's go one step further and actually add something to the cart. So we'll purchase the toolkit. Add to cart. Okay. So now we're seeing some progress. So already we have the notice show up. We have our global header. We have our page title. We have ample white space so the cart can breathe. We have our footer. We have this button cooperating. This button is not cooperating. So let's see what happens if we increase the quantity. Now this button cooperates. So what we need to do is we now need to do some final tweaking to the disabled button and also change this button here because it doesn't line up. But we are making some progress. At this time, are there any questions, comments, anything anyone would like to highlight, suggestions? The floor is yours.
Hey, Christina.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the cart is empty, do you need to have a separate module for a default on empty cart? Because it wasn't showing up when the cart was empty, right?
That is true. So I think what we needed to have was having this notice here, but let's actually test that theory out. So let's actually remove everything from the cart and see what shows up. So what seems to happen is your cart is currently empty shows up, but that wasn't showing up before. And now we have two notices. So let's see what happens. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. Step one, we're going to stylize everything here. And then step two, we're going to hide the notice module and see what happens. Right now we have an empty cart, but let's just refresh to see. Interesting, so the notice has now disappeared, but let's still stylize it in any case. So we're going to go to the design tab and we're going to go to those pesky buttons and use a custom style. So we're going to have it be, I don't remember what I had it, I think it was white. And then hovering over it becomes black. And then the inverse for the text. It's white and you hover over it and it's black. We're going to change the font to match the rest of the site and we're going to make sure that we've selected the icon. I'm also going to see if I can just simply copy these button styles and see if I can apply it elsewhere. But right now, we're also going to change the styling for the disabled button. So from what I remember, I think the icon was incorrect. So I'm going to select an icon here. And we're going to save this. And then let's hide this. So I'm going to change the visibility just for our testing purposes to see what happens. So I think we're finished with all the styling for the cart page now. And we've hidden the notice. So now let's go to the front end and see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like right now. We have an empty cart. We have the notice and we have a return to shop button, which is not aligned correctly. So let's see what happens over here. Nothing still. That is interesting. So let's see if there's still what could possibly be there? No, I don't think that would be it. Let's go back into the actual cart module and see what elements we need to show here. Okay, so we showed product image, we showed coupon code, update cart button, show remove icon button. We want all of those things. Let's go to design. We have our layout, product row. This is interesting. I didn't know we could do that. So it looks like we could have the products in a vertical format I'm not sure what the difference is from that and then the bottom horizontal. Interesting. We can control the text, the table header, the remove icon, the image, the fields, the action button, the disabled button. I'm going to add a border around here. I am not seeing, unless I'm missing something, but I think we probably would need to still have this here. Ah, I think we figured it out. So for the Woo Notice settings, we can have it for the product page, which is what it's set up as right now, the cart page and the checkout page. So I think if we change this to cart page, that will control some of these things. And let's see if we can paste. Yeah, we can paste button styles. Awesome. Okay, so it seems like it copied the disabled button style. Boo. All right, so let's just see how this works for now. Okay. So we are going to change the visibility on this so we can see it. I'm going to save this template. And we are now going to refresh and let us see what the situation is. Hallelujah. So now we have the styling for the module, for the notice when the cart is empty, and we have a little bit of a better styling on the button, but let's do better. We can do better than that. So we're going to go back into design. The background is going to be black and hover. It's going to be green. The text is going to be white. On hover, it's going to be white. And let's change the icon. Since this is the shop icon, let's use a cart icon instead. When you hover over it. Okay. I saw a snippet somewhere showing how to center the button, but I don't remember where I saw it. But now I feel a bit happier with the styling of this button. So let's now go to the home page and see what we're up against. Okay. So now the cart page looks a bit better than when it did when we first got to it. Number one, we've styled the button, we've changed the icon. And if we were to go back and add a product to it, we will now be able to see how we recreated the cart page using the new WooCommerce module. So we've added to cart. And so now we have the global header, we have the page title, we have the updated notice with the button. Okay, that carried through, can edit that. This button looks good. This button also looks good. And if we update the cart, that also looks good. Awesome, but I think something is missing here. Who wants to tell me what is missing from this page? Something key is missing, very, very key. We're on the cart page. We've decided we want to buy 2 of this toolkit. What is missing?
The checkout button.
Hallelujah, that is exactly what's missing. So let's figure out and find out how do we wrap this all up on this cart page and add the checkout button. So I'm going to edit this module. Let's just double check to make sure we have everything here. Yep, show file image, coupon code, update, remove. I think we might need to use, do we need to use an add to cart module? No, I don't think so. Question for the group. What module do you think we would need to use here? Do we need to use a module, or is it something where we would need to simply customize this cart module. Floor is open.
What was the question?
Is there not a checkout module?
Yeah, let's check that out. So the question is, right now, we're happy with the styling of the cart page, but there isn't a checkout button currently. So we can apply a coupon, we can delete a product, we can change the quantity, we can update the cart, but we can't actually check out.
Christina, what's on the other product pages that gives the ability to check out? Maybe if that's a module that can be reused.
So good question. So we use for that, we use the WooCommerce product add to cart. And so that will bring us back here as into a loop. So I think maybe what we need to potentially look out for is maybe a checkout button. So I don't know if that's actually
Checkout
No.
payment.
Let's see. No, so this is more so the actual payment section.
Oddly, somebody says that if you disable the privacy settings on your privacy page, the button will appear.
Really?
That's good news, right? But that's just a quick Google and a post on WordPress.org.
That's interesting.
But it seems to be a pretty well-established problem.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of posts on it. My Google query was Divi theme missing checkout button on WooCart module, which is pretty specific.
Interesting. Well, let us go through that and let's figure it out, because I think because from what I remember, I'm trying to go in my mind. Where do I have, give me one second, I'm trying to think where I have another WooCommerce instance that I can refer back to. Let's see. But I don't feel like they would bring the new modules out and then that piece be like a major piece that's missing. So this is what the old site used to look like. So let's add something to the cart. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So let's start Googling. So what was the search term that you used, Chris?
Sorry, just muted. I use Divi theme missing checkout button on WooCart module.
Okay, so let's just take a look at this. Go to WooCommerce status and tools and click on to clear in front of clear template cache. You can now clear expired transients and WooCommerce transients. That's it. Now refresh the chart page and you will get your proceed to checkout button back. Okay, so let's try that out. So we'll say what we have so far. And so they say WooCommerce status. Then tools. And click on to clear in front of clear template cache. Just do a search. Okay, clear template cache. Let's just double check. So I saw a lot of clear. Clear template cache. Okay. Well, let's see. No. Okay, so let's do the other ones as well. So now let's refresh. I'm not really seeing anything here still. Hmm. I am a bit stumped, I'm not going to lie. And I don't feel like this is something where you need to have a child theme created and then copy and paste code snippets to fix. But it seems like it might be a greater WooCommerce issue as opposed to a greater Divi issue like Chris had mentioned. But what say you, the group? What do you think? Do you think we should go ahead and try with some code snippets, do a bit more Googles, or look around the Divi builder a bit more? Floor is open for suggestions.
Is the payment portal method selected? Does Woo have something to go see to know that it's going to be able to make a payment?
I believe so, because this is a live site.
Like First Data or somebody like that?
Yeah, I believe they do have, yeah, they do, because I literally just connected it a couple of days ago. Yeah, so we have Stripe attached and connected.
Yeah, then that should not be the issue then.
Anyone else want to provide some feedback?
It's all looking awesome.
Yes, it looks awesome, but we need to make clients money. So we need the checkout button to work. It's great that they can pay me, but they need to recuperate those costs. So this is actually really good because, like I said, this is actually something I actually need to do for this client. So this is something I was going to end up having to face anyway. So
I'm curious again, if you went back to one of the products that are already set, what do you get when you go there? Like if you put a product in your cart, do you automatically get the button? Are you in a different place where the cart shows up?
Okay, that's a good question. So let's remove the item.
Because those other products are working, right?
Yeah. Well,
So,
I don't know. I don't think so. But let's start, like you said, let's start completely from scratch. So let's go to cart in the menu.
oh, you know that button you just, we just saw, it said either pay with Google Pay,
Yeah, that was the product page.
add to cart. So, okay,
I see what you're saying though.
yeah. So
I see what you're saying.
yeah, exactly. I know that's a piece that's missing, but my brain is trying to.
We're gonna do that. So let's just add, okay, so we should have, okay, there it is. Okay, so let's add this to cart. And then let's see what happens. So we get continue shopping, update cart, but we don't have purchase. Okay, so now let's go in and edit this template and add the add to cart module, but stream it down a bit.
Yeah, because on the other page, it looks like it's two separate entities,
Mhm.
right? there's the pay button, and then there's the other add to cart button. And it's like they go to two different places.
Hold on. I think this is it. Let's see. So what I just did, because I remember distinctively there was more missing, which is why I wanted to see like what an actual WooCommerce page looks like, which is why I went to the backup, but that was doing maintenance mode. But what we were missing was even on this cart page, we don't have totals or anything like that. So I think the missing module, like what Patty Rose said, there was a module missing, but it wasn't the add to cart module, it was the cart totals module. Because now with the cart totals module, we have the subtotal, the total, and automatically the proceed to checkout button. So let's actually see if that, does that track?
Probably test that doing a change quantity update cart, and then you'll see the change.
Okay, so let's do that. So we just added the cart totals module, which I think that's also one of the new modules they brought out for WooCommerce, right? I believe. So let's refresh. Okay, so there we go. See, now we have the buy with Google or proceed to checkout. So if we click on that, we now get sent to the checkout page. Huh, interesting.
Which module did you add?
So thank you, everybody. We worked through it together. So to make up the cart page, it appears that you need at minimum 3 modules. You need the Woo Notice settings module, and you will need to change the content page type depending on the page template you are creating. So if you're doing it for the product page, you can do that. You can also do it for the cart page, as what we're doing right now, and then the checkout page, which we're going to do shortly after. So that's the first module you need, outside of any of the styling that you would do to match the rest of your site. Secondly, you would need the Woo Cart Products module, and that will edit the actual showcasing of what's in the cart. Don't forget the buttons. And then thirdly, as Patty Rose pointed out, there is a third module needed. And that third module to tie everything together is the Woo Cart Totals module. And that module will now show the subtotal, the total, and will bring about the proceed to checkout button, which again, don't forget to style. We're all learning today because I just learned how to do this for the first time. Awesome. Interesting.
Totally.
All right, cool. Yeah. All right, cool.
It's teamwork.
Teamwork, yes, indeed. So I'm going to see if I can copy the button styling from here and paste it here. Cool. Let's see if we can change the title. I don't like the title. And I think I might add another row underneath here. So let's add a new row. And we'll put this in here. And now, doesn't look like we can actually change the text. That's a bummer. I don't know, do you think it should be centered or, I don't know.
It's not entitled text, the cart totals piece.
No, This is more for the style.
Oh, okay. Huh. That's weird.
Yeah. I think we could probably use a bit of CSS to change that, but I don't remember that right now. But let's save and go back to the cart and see what happens. So this is where we're at right now, making beautiful progress. And let's refresh. Okay. So it looks pretty neat. So we have the products, update carts looking good, apply coupons looking good, proceed to checkout is looking good. Do you have the products here? Okay, so now let's remove this completely and just see if what happens. Okay. Interesting. All right, so now let's start from the very beginning. We have the product. We're going to add to cart. It takes us to our newly designed cart page. We have the notice looking good. Got to change that button. So the button is not looking good here. All the other buttons are looking good. We can change the quantity. We can update the cart. Cart total gets updated. We can buy with Google Pay because we have Stripe attached, or we can proceed to checkout. And that brings us to the checkout page, which I wonder how we'll be able to customize this because I hate this. This right here is so annoying. But I think we tackled that down well, group. What do you say? What say you? I thought we did really good over there, personally. Awesome. Okay. So thank you for helping me with my homework. So now let us do, let's just really quickly, just so that I can just get that off my plate, let us update the icon on here because it was looking really bad. So we're going to change that icon to just be the regular arrow and then save. And then I've made a note to come back and center this button because I don't like how it's left aligned. But we have finished styling the cart page and we used some, I shouldn't say all, we used some of the new WooCommerce modules. So now let's do that for the checkout page. So now we're going to proceed to checkout. And we are now going to exit out of the cart template, which you've created. All changes are saved. So we haven't done a new template. We haven't done a new reassignment of pages. So we don't have to save the whole theme builder, but we've been able to completely do the cart page. So I'm just going to take a brief break. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, anything they'd like to share? Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, so once you get all this heavy lifting done in the back end and say I've got a client that wants to go ahead and add their own products, where do they go ahead and spin up a new product page? And does your customized layout, do they just get that in the Divi library?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
no. So they would go to create the new product under WooCommerce, specifically products. So they truly do not need to change the theme builder. This is where you, as the designer, developer, maintainer of the site, might come in. So you would set up all the templates. They would just manage the products. And depending on the templates you've created, whatever they create in terms of products will just automatically populate into there.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'll actually give you an example. Let's go back to the educator's toolkit. And I'll show you because what I will do is I will create another digital product / book. So we're going to spin up a whole brand new product, and that new product is going to be in the same category as this product. And then what's going to happen is that will now populate this section minus this. So what your client will do and what you would need to train your client on how to do is how to create a new product with WooCommerce.
Right, but they don't actually go to the product page and spin up a product.
No, they don't touch. I truly do not recommend clients touch the theme builder. That is your domain.
No,
There's
I mean,
no need for them to touch it. Yeah.
right, but in your menu on the, just underneath WooCommerce's products, they don't have to add a product, they don't have to spin up a product page.
No, that's where they'll spin it up. They'll spin it up in there. Do you want us to go through that just to kind of see what that looks like?
No, I trust it.
Cool. Patty, do you want us to go through that? I think you nodded.
Yeah, I think that might be good if you just want to go through briefly to show that.
Sure.
I think it's a really good question, and a lot of people would find it helpful.
Okay, cool. So because I'm cool, I don't use boring lorem ipsum. I use calid ipsum. So that's what we're going to use to populate this new product. So we're going to put the theme builder. Are we good for time? I just want to make sure. So we end at 7:15, right?
Yes, and if this is going to cut into what you already had planned, then don't worry about
No.
it. I just like to show where it goes.
Yeah. No, it's not cutting into my time. I just wanted to make sure I had enough time because I feel we're making good progress because we're doing good. We're doing good. So
Yeah,
we
we're
can
good for time. We have till 7:15, and the floor is yours.
All right, great. So as a client, we will manage all of the products under products. So this client, they have, and this is the reason why I try to get clients to use WooCommerce if they're doing something similar to this, which is they want to have digital products and ship out physical products. That's something I find things like Squarespace and Shopify and Wix, they don't do really, really well. And I think it's something that WooCommerce does absolutely amazing. And so whenever a client comes to me and they say, I want to sell my digital journal and I want to ship the journal, I always say, you know what, you're better investing in a WooCommerce installation than paying $25 a month to Shopify. And this is what this client ended up doing. So we already have a ton of apparel here, but we only have one digital product. So what I want to do is I want to create a second digital product so that this one has a friend. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the category for this. Actually, no, we'll leave it as uncategorized and let's see if we can use that as a category. And then we're going to click add new. So I'm adding a completely brand new product. And we're just going to call it.
Can you duplicate the product?
You know what? That's a really good question. I don't remember if WooCommerce has that.
Because there's an option there down to like duplicate. So if you just duplicate and just change.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for saving me time.
You're welcome.
So, you know what? We'll keep that exactly as it is, but I just want to show the difference between a short description. I don't like the way WooCommerce did this, but it's fine. I feel like the short description should be at the top and the long description at the bottom, but the short description is at the bottom and the long description is at the top in any case. And then we're going to take the bigger paragraph as the long description should be put up here. Let's just put it up. We're going to keep the category as uncategorized. I'm going to publish. So now if we go to this product page, this is a short description, but there's nothing in here because it is a digital product. So there's no additional information. There's no different versions of it. And also there's no related product. So if we refresh now, all things being equal, we now see that the copy we just did is now populated under related products, and that's the copy. And if we actually were to go inside, this populates automatically. The title, the thumbnail, the text, the short description. stripe, add to cart, and then the description automatically populates. And then because they are both in the uncategorized product category, the original Educators Toolkit has now populated under related products for this copy of the product. So short description, long description in the tab, and then the related product. And notice that there was no need for me as a client to touch the theme builder at all. All of the styling, all of the settings, even now if I add this to cart on a completely brand new product that we just spun up, it gets added here and it's a copy, pricing, cart updated, what have you.
Can I ask a quick question? So basically you provision a product under Woo and it sort of inherits the skin that you've created through the theme builder, right? So all the style elements apply to it automatically.
Yes.
Do you know, does that hold true if you are using something like Printful integration for print on demand? So Printful is pushing products into the Woo products module, if that would work. Have you tested that?
That's a really good question. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have the answer for you, but I do have a new client who is using a Printful integration and we are going to be testing that out. So I personally don't have an answer for you. I would think it would, but I do turn this question to anyone on the floor. Does anyone have any experience using a print on demand service and assigning Divi page templates to it? Floor is open.
I will share that I have a site that I'm working with that's owned by a friend, and we have a mix of manually provisioned products and then the Printful integration. I didn't do the design and it's not Divi, but the design elements that they have set for their site do apply to both sets of products, so manually provisioned as well as the Printful ones. So I'd be curious. I'll send you an email and you can let me know.
Do send me an email and I will update you as to what I would think it would, because if the Printful is directly adding things into the WooCommerce database, then I think it would consider it as a product and therefore the Divi product template would apply to it. But I don't know for sure, but I will know in like 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. In my experience, and again, this isn't Divi, but it does pull through all of the variants, so sizes, color differences, the descriptions, so all of the core and the thumbnail images as well from Printful. So all of that is passing through. I just haven't tested it with Divi. So I'll be curious to see if that actually works. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So we're rounding third here. And so now let's edit the checkout page. I can't put my finger on what I don't like about this. So you tell me what you don't like about it, and then let's try and fix it. I don't know. Obviously the buttons, we're gonna fix that for sure. Let's see. This website doesn't have many forms. The only form it has is this one over here. But I don't think I want to borrow this styling for the checkout. But I'm not crazy a fan of the checkout styling here. Any ideas for how we could maybe restyle this and make it look not so long?
You know, I'm not crazy about the 2-column layout for additional notes where I don't know that would be so necessary to have there. I think it would look better if it was more full width and then put the additional notes somewhere else.
Okay, so let's try doing that. Okay, so I think let's see what modules we have first. So let us remove the checkout page from my account. So we're creating a new template. So we're going to remove checkout from here. And let's save. So notice we're going to have to save the changes eventually. We're going to add a new template here. And that new template is going to be for checkout. And we're going to create a template over here. So I think I want to copy the cart body and then edit from there, just to kind of save some time on some of the styling. So now let's edit this and see what we have in store. So right off the bat, we have our page title. Awesome. And we have cart totals, we have the actual cart box, the notice, etc. So I think the first thing we're going to do, if we look at the cart, the checkout page as it is right now, it does have a notice at the top. So I think we're going to leave this here, but go into the settings and change the page type from cart, from product to checkout. And I'm hoping that it will take the styling from there. I feel like it has. So we got apply coupon, button looking good, button looking good. All right. I definitely think we're going to just put the styling of the fields on the back burner. I haven't decided yet what I want, but I don't want this. So we'll come back to that. But firstly, we've got this section covered, which is great. So now I think, just to be double sure, I'm going to copy the styling for the button so I don't have to continuously do that. Copy button styles. And so now let us remove this and create a new row right across, so no columns. Let's see what modules we have for checkout. So we have checkout billing, checkout details, checkout information, checkout payment, and checkout shipping. That's a lot. Oh, let's start from here. So I think we have billing first. So let's do the billing. Awesome, I like it. So we have right across, not liking the fields, but we'll take it for now. So that right away, we've gotten rid of the additional information and made this fully full width. Let's do it. I just want to take a peek at how much. So, okay, so we have full width. And then oh, interesting. So that makes it automatically shorter. Good to know. So there's something here for form notice. I'm not sure what that's all about. So we're just going to leave that for now. So I think we now need to put this there. So let's go back in, search checkout. Which module do you think would be? Do you think it'll be checkout details or checkout information for the next module to go?
Can you go back to the other page? I don't know which is that's billing.
So we've got the coupon section and the notice covered. We've got a lot of additional information. We have billing details. So let us try checkout details and checkout information. Sounds like exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But let's just go with the first one, which is, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that is this. Okay, making progress. Yeah, I'm not sure really about the styling just yet. We'll just build it up as we go along. So I think next would be checkout payment. Cool. Really not loving the styling. And I don't think we don't have a cart totals over here. So I think we can delete that. And therefore we won't need this row over here. And I think we have enough space at the bottom to kind of add some breathing room under here. So I think the only thing I'm going to do here is paste the button styling. But it looks like there's a lot more styling that could potentially be done. just looking over here, there's like tooltip styling and form notice, which is something I don't really know what that. Okay, is this form notice? Let's see. That is form notice. Okay, I think that's fine. It's big, but it's fine. Let's see what this is. We can change the radio button. Let's just leave it as this for now. So let's save this, Control S. And then we're going to have to go back into the theme builder itself and save it because we created a new template. We changed the page assignment. So we're going to click Save Changes. And then what I'm actually going to do is open a new tab for this. So this first tab is the old checkout layout, and this is the new one. So it looks like there's a little bit of a change in the page title, but that's not what we're focusing on right now. So we can enter a coupon. The button is different. On the former page, the button was different and totally terrible. So we've made improvements. We do still have the buy with Google Pay, but we now have full width for the billing details. We've gotten rid of additional information. So this is on the old layout. Additional information is now gone. Now we have the order broken down over here. And I love how there's additional space because it's another module. So we have a little bit more breathing room between the billing details and the order details. And then we have the actual payment section and then placing an order. Compared to this, and the button was lost. And then there's a bit more white space between the checkout, well, credit card form and the footer. So I'll definitely say this checkout page looks much better than this one. I think it makes better use of space. So I think the only things left to do are to style the fields, but I haven't decided on what I want to do for that yet. But I have come to the end of my presentation. I think we went on, wow, sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. There's like 13 comments. So we are going to answer all of these. But my presentation is done, but I'm going to leave the screen share up in case we need to like show anything through. So
This has been great, Christina.
thank you. This has been great for me too. So let's go through.
It might be, I wonder if it's easier to say for anyone who did have a question in chat that didn't get answered yet, you may just want to unmute and ask if it hasn't already been addressed.
Yeah.
Because I think some of these were addressed as you were going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can look through them anyway, that's fine. I'm just saying.
I just have one question, one more question. This is Erin. Do you know if you have built a store already using the default Woo storefront, if it's easy enough to convert to Divi, or does it require a lot of, no, I see Chris shaking his head. Or is that a tricky proposition? You really have to sort of build from the ground up.
You have to build from the ground up. I don't remember. I think maybe I just kind of focus on like new Divi and not so much old Divi, but I remember at one point in time, Divi had the Divi builder, which could technically work with any theme. But I think your best bet would be to do truly a redesign in Divi so that you can have the power of the theme builder behind you, as opposed to trying to use just the builder to be able to integrate into storefront. So I would say potentially you'll be looking at a redesign.
Okay, thank you.
I tried to overlay the Divi builder into an existing site with Woo, and a bunch of other stuff that was going on, like, and I had theme conflicts and Woo conflicts, and I ended up having to start from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So worth the investment up front to do it right, is what I'm hearing. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Christina.
Hello.
It's Michelle. I have a couple of questions, and that is, with the cart and the checkout page, what's the benefit of doing it in the theme builder as opposed to building a page? If it's only once off, you know what I mean? Like it's not used for many pages.
Good question. So right at the very beginning of this presentation, we removed the cart template that we had built out. And the truth of the matter is, by default, if you just use any of the WooCommerce shortcodes in an original page, you still won't be able to get that finer customization of things such as the buttons within the shortcode. So you would still have the page around it looking as it should, but the actual, what is called the WooCommerce loop would not be customized. So this is why you would build individual templates to go for the cart page or the checkout page or my account page, because you have deeper customization.
Right. I thought that you could use those modules on a page as well, like not to use the WooCommerce pages, but to build the pages in Divi and use those modules that you've used in the theme builder, but in the page.
You could do that, but I think, did you do that?
And then customize them there.
I feel like you could, but I think I would say you're right for the cart checkout my account page, but I think for the product page, you know,
that's okay. Not for the product page, but just for those cart and checkout where they're not populated by the other stuff that doesn't change.
Yeah, you could use just a page, but I think the styling doesn't go as deep as it could, which is why you would create a separate template.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other question I have is about the product pages. If you've got, say you've got an online store that has clothing and shoes, and some of the the size and they change, shoe sizes are different than clothing sizes, and you might have a link to a size guide or those sort of things. Would you have to build individual product pages per category, and every time they change, would you create a different one?
No,
and
not at all. No, I think that's more of like a personal preference, because if you go into, that's more of a specific WooCommerce question, and it wouldn't have any bearing on the Divi theme builder unless you wanted to say all products that are shoes would look different. But if it's like talking about shoe sizes and then clothing sizes and then colors for t-shirts, you could have still one product page template and it would apply for all of them. It's just what's in I forget what it's called, but if I navigate to it, I will remember the name. Not affiliates. What is that word? Give me 1 second. Not affiliates. Attributes. The attributes change, but you don't need to style. You don't need to create a template for each attribute that's added to a product. It will just automatically, by default, populate the additional info tab as it sees fit. So you can have a variety of products with a variety of attributes going all over the place or even intermingling, and you can use one specific product template for that. And if I'm being honest, I don't think you could even create a template that goes as granular as creating a template based on product attributes as of yet. So by default, it would all use whatever product page template you've set in the Divi theme builder.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Let me go back. I think we've covered a few, but I do know I'm missing a few. Okay. Do I have the latest Divi installed? I hope so. I hope I do. Can you show what checkout modules there are? Okay, we covered that. Does the checkout modules only work on the checkout page and not in the theme builder? When you enable the Divi builder on a WooCommerce cart page or on a WooCommerce checkout page, Divi automatically converts the page into a collection of new Divi modules using the 8 new cart and checkout modules we added in this update from this page. I actually haven't tried that out yet because on this specific website, I had already created the templates for it. So potentially, if you're doing maybe a vanilla WooCommerce installation and you haven't actually assigned a template, that could be what happens. During this presentation, we were going and editing a page, so that's why we did it that way, but potentially that could be it. That could be something that happens over there. I think we covered Aaron's question regarding Printful and the other question regarding storefront. And we covered Michelle's question just now. We covered Chris. So Rosalinda said in reference to the Divi accessibility plugin, it lives in GitHub, but they haven't updated it since almost a year ago. It's helpful, but only goes so far. So I thought. And we answered Seema's question right at the beginning. All right, so I think we covered all questions in the chat, as well as all questions directly during the presentation. And we have like 10 minutes to spare. So I think we did really good there. If there are any further questions, like I said, we have 10 minutes. If you want to know more about me, I would definitely like to share. I wanted to get the presentation done first and answer all of your questions first, because that's what's more important, not so much like my personal background. So as long as you guys got your assistance and what you need help and clarification on, I'm happy. But if you have any questions for me personally, I'm here to answer them for the next 10 minutes.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute. I think you really did an amazing job and covered so many of the questions along the way. It was a wonderful presentation, and I think it would be wonderful if you'd like to share a little bit more about yourself and what you do and how you're involved in the Divi community and what your business is about. And people, feel free, everyone, to chime in and we can have either a Q&A if questions come up, and just chat also.
For sure. Okay, so about me, I was stumped on this. Okay, so my name is Christina, obviously. Let's start there. I actually live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So I'm about 3 to 4 hours out of New York. And I've been working with Divi for, I think, 5 years now. So I've used Divi for clients actively for about 5 years. And I first started out on the cracked versions of Divi. I don't know if anybody used to do that back in the day. It's very illegal. It's when you basically, someone basically downloads a version of Divi and you can use it, but it's illegal because you didn't pay for a purchase. But I was like a new designer and I didn't have the money because I wasn't charging enough to be able to even afford a yearly license or subscription. So that is what I used to do. But the thing I kept on finding out, especially when I was building back in like 2015, 2017, around there, was that mobile responsiveness was becoming like a big thing. Like, you are welcome, Louis. It was becoming a big thing. Like, everybody wanted their website to be mobile responsive. And at that time, I was using like whatever WordPress theme a client had, that's what I would use for their website. So if they came with like some random theme from some random theme marketplace in like Gibraltar, I would have to figure out how to use that theme and then make their website. And then what would end up happening was that the theme never looks good on mobile. And so I always found myself reaching back to using Divi, because even back then, more than 5 years ago, Divi really took a really good look at mobile responsiveness. So I knew that if I built a site and the client said I needed to work on mobile, I knew that if I built it on Divi, automatically right out of the gate, it would be mobile responsive. at least to a point where they could be happy, I would be happy. If they were whip out their phone and they looked at it, the site would be mobile responsive. So it wasn't until I want to say, I think 3 years ago, that I decided that I would only build all my websites on Divi. And that's when I became really invested in Divi itself. I would follow the blog a lot. And it actually wasn't until was it last year? I don't even know. Like the pandemic feels like one big year, even though it's almost 3 now. But right before the initial, so in Canada, or specifically in the Greater Toronto area, we had our first lockdown March 2020. So in January 2020, I actually reached out to, my city reached out to me and they said, hey, we want to have a WordPress meetup. We did this a couple of years ago. It was amazing, but we do not have anybody on staff in the city to be able to run the meetup. Would you be able to run the meetup? And I said, for sure. So they were like, we're going to sponsor your meetup. And so I didn't realize at the time, but I want to say like the sister-in-law of the manager of the incubator, which the city was running, she was the founder of the Toronto WordCamp. So when she heard that I was now doing the meetup, she came and she like mentored me. She's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this. And I was like, okay, great. And so that was like, I wanna say December 2019 into January 2020. And so she took me under her wing, and the plan was by the end of 2020, we would do the next Toronto WordCamp at the incubator, and I would be running it. So that was the plan. But oh, God likes to just mess up plans, You show him your plans and he's like, What happened in March 2020 was the pandemic came. And so the incubator shut down and we're not doing any events, and we haven't done any events, large scale events in Ontario, Canada for a while now. But what ended up happening was the city was still like, hey, we still want to do meetups. Like, what's going to happen? So they have this beautiful space. So the plan was they would sponsor the space, they would sponsor everything, including the space. But now we can't meet physically anymore. We have to meet virtually. So they were like, you know what? We will sponsor that too. So if it's like Zoom or GoToMeeting or whatever, it was GoToMeeting at first, really not cool. So they sponsored that. And so we did the WordPress meetups. We did 2 WordPress meetups in January and February. And then I was like, this is so cool. Is there one for Divi? And then I found out there wasn't one for Divi. And so I reached out to Raquel, and then I literally 2 months into my WordPress meetup, I then did the Divi Brampton meetup. And I did that for, I think I got 2 in, and then I caught COVID. And then I didn't do any meetups for like 6 months, because after I recovered from COVID, I then moved from Brampton to Toronto. And so, and then 2 months into moving to Toronto, I injured myself. And so last year, I think we did a max of 6 Divi meetups and WordPress meetups combined. And then this year I said, no, I really want to have proper meetups. I want to speak a bit more. I want to teach a bit more. And so that's how I became involved in like the Divi meetup space and the WordPress meetup space. So now I'm leading the Divi Brampton has merged with Divi Toronto, and that's what I'm doing now. And so I love teaching about Divi. Like, you know how there's like, the T when it comes to like talent or task or whatever. It was like, you're good at a whole bunch of things and you go like really deep in one thing. For me, I go really deep into Divi. And so that's a little bit about my background with WordPress and with Divi, and that's why I'm here today. Yeah.
Hey, Christine, do you have a Divi meetup group?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. And it's in Toronto?
Yeah, so it's the Toronto one. So
like we can come creep you over there?
Yes, you can absolutely. And you know what? We sometimes do co-meetups too, where we have like a couple of cities and we'll all have the same meetup on the same night. But there's I'm going to try to find it. in a second, but there's a page on Meetup that lists every single Divi group. And Christina, if you have a link to your group, feel free to pop it in the chat. And you can join all of them. You can, you can go to Divi's worldwide.
Yeah. So our Divi meetup, I've seen like some days it's like 50% Americans, 50% Canadians, honestly. It's like, it's really, I feel like more so with Divi meetups than WordPress meetups. I think Divi meetups are definitely a bit more global than WordPress meetups. I think WordPress meetups are more local, at least in like my experience. I find that I have more local people visiting the WordPress meetups, but for the Divi meetups, I have people like all across the board attending. I've had people, I think, from the UK. We had a guest speaker come in from Eastern Europe. We constantly have so many people from America coming in. So we have feel free to visit us. I think we're doing one at the end of the month. I haven't posted it yet, but I will post it this week for sure. And yeah, you can come and follow me there. We're doing site clinics this month. So if you have a site you need some help on, I want to bounce some ideas off of, we will help you there.
Cool.
That's great. After, like Christina was saying, everything's a blur, but when the pandemic hit, the Divi meetings that we used to do in person obviously got shifted to virtual, and over the last, I guess we're at 2 years, right? We're in the second year of navigating what that is and how it looks, and I truly believe that this part of this is gonna stick because people really are coming together from all over. Yeah. And Christina, I think we should talk about doing a joint meeting at some point and bring our groups together for something.
I would love to do that because I'm trying to revitalize both of my meetups because 2021 was like an eventful year for me personally. So this year I really want to focus on building community, and I would definitely love to kind of do a Toronto NYC meetup for sure. So
we'll continue that conversation, and thank you for sharing your story. I mean, that's a lot to have to navigate in the middle of all the other stuff happening, for everyone. So I'm glad you're okay, and I'm glad you're back on focused on your feet, and glad to have you today.
Thank you for having me. It was really great to interact with everybody here. Thank you, Chris, for chiming in and providing resources. That was really helpful. And I'm glad that I also got to, play with Divi because I truly that was like a real life walkthrough because I haven't actually played with those modules before, but we got it done. And I know the thing is the client will not even notice. That's the thing. The client will not even notice that there was a change made to their cart and checkout page. But we will know this.
Yeah, and the thing about a live walkthrough like that is that this is what we go through. Things change, things get moved. There's a new name for a module. There's a different module, and so this is the way it is. And it's really great to just recognize and remember that we are all going through the same process. And so I think it was great. And there is a question about, yes, there will be a recording. I have a private YouTube channel where I put the recordings, and then we'll send it in the meetup messages. So if you make sure your meetup notifications are on for email, you'll get the link to the YouTube channel where I put the recording. And that was from Michelle. And everybody, thank you so much for participating today. Made a very rich addition to Christina's fantastic presentation.
Yeah, I really wanted to do a walkthrough because, again, like I said, I knew some of it, and then the new parts I was like, okay, let's learn this together. And it really was truly an over-the-shoulder experience. But thank you so much for having me. I am going to pop off into my next meeting, but it's always great hanging out with you. I'm glad that we were able to have a two-way communication. It wasn't just me blabbing on. I hate that. So I'm really glad we were able to converse during this thing. So feel free to reach out to me on Meetup or anywhere where I'm at every single social media with my full name, which is Christina Guerra. And I will definitely see you all later on in the year for sure. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. See the chat.